In a striking turn of events, a highly coordinated cyber sabotage operation targeted Iran's maritime communication systems in late August 2025, effectively severing crucial satellite connections and navigation support for numerous vessels. This incident raises significant concerns about the vulnerabilities in maritime infrastructure and the potential for widespread disruption. Instead of attempting to compromise each ship individually, a daunting task given the vastness of international waters, the attackers chose a more strategic approach. They infiltrated the Fanava Group, the IT service provider that manages satellite communications for Iran's sanctioned tanker fleets. By exploiting weaknesses in the company's outdated iDirect Falcon terminals, the hackers gained root access to Linux systems operating on kernel version 2.6.35. This allowed them to map out the entire fleet through a centralized MySQL database, which is a common tool for managing structured data. The initial breach seems to have taken advantage of unpatched vulnerabilities in the legacy Falcon management consoles. This oversight enabled the attackers to execute privileged commands and extract sensitive network mappings. Once they were inside the system, they collected modem serial numbers, network IDs, and configurations for IP phone systems, all in plain text. Among the sensitive credentials they uncovered were usernames like 1402 at Argo and 1406 at Diamond. Armed with this information, the attackers orchestrated a synchronized blackout that had immediate and severe consequences. Email communications and FBB SIM services failed, automated weather updates stopped, and signals for port coordination disappeared almost instantaneously. This operation, identified by researcher Nariman Garib as Lab-Dookhtegan, was not merely a one-time disruption. Email logs dating back to May indicated that the attackers had maintained access and conducted periodic tests, confirming their control over the networks for several months prior to executing their destructive finale. On August 18th, the attackers initiated a scorched earth strategy, overwriting multiple storage partitions on satellite modems with zero data, making remote recovery impossible. By targeting Iran's sanctioned fleets, specifically the National Iranian Tanker Company, NITC, and the Islamic Republic of Iran Shipping Lines, IRISL, at a time when covert oil transfers to China were increasing, the attackers significantly undermined Iran's ability to evade sanctions. Without reliable communication links, these tankers faced the risk of drifting off course or becoming vulnerable to boarding and seizure. The precision of this operation indicates that the attackers had conducted extensive reconnaissance, allowing them to deliver their disruptive payloads at the most strategically damaging moment. The infection mechanism employed by the malware was multifaceted. It began with initial access through unprotected management ports, followed by lateral movement using SSH keys obtained from MySQL dumps, and culminated in the deployment of destructive scripts. After gaining root access on a compromised Falcon console, the attackers executed commands designed to wipe primary storage partitions and recovery slices, ensuring that the terminal's firmware and configurations could not be restored without physical intervention. At the same time, SQL queries were used to extract the fleet's blueprint, allowing the attackers to automate credential injections and shutdown sequences across 64 vessels with a single orchestration script. By embedding malicious cron entries, they ensured both persistence and timed execution, triggering the blackout at a moment calculated to maximize operational chaos. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the critical need to isolate management interfaces and enforce rigorous patching protocols on essential satellite communication systems. As we reflect on this event, it raises important questions. How prepared are we for such sophisticated cyber threats? What measures can be taken to safeguard maritime infrastructure against similar attacks in the future? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.